Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe.
Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist, Cognac, Wellerlane, and I am just about to interview fabulous film actor Kevin Kolack. This is part one of my very fascinating interview with actor Kevin Kolack. Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist, Cognac, Wellerlane, and I have a very, very special guest. He is a well-known actor. He's been in so many films. He's been on television. He's been in a lot of TV series, and his name is Mr. Kevin Kolack. Did I pronounce that correctly, darling?
Perfectly. It's like Kojak, but with an L.
With an L. Okay, so let me tell my audience a little bit about you before we get into the questions.
Okay.
Kevin grew up outside of Atlanta, Georgia, in a town with no traffic lights, but both his parents hailed from the New York City area. After getting a BS in chemistry and Buddhism from the University of Virginia, Kevin moved to Bloomington, Indiana to earn a PhD in chemistry, as well as a certification as a master firefighter and EMT. While in Indiana, Kevin began his acting in earnest, traveling to Chicago weekly and New York City several times per year for classes and seminars. Kevin moved to New York City in 1998 to act full-time. Kevin has been everything from a movie theater manager to a camp counselor and rifle instructor to a New York City taxi driver and helicopter pilot in real life. And just as a wide variety on screen, he has been seen in more than 36 films and TV shows and has appeared in stand-up comedy clubs around New York City, in addition to touring the country, putting on a one-man multiple puppet show, possessing an unusually broad facility with character voice work. You may also hear one of his many voices in a variety of television and radio commercials and cartoons. Now, that was a lot to tell my audience. But I also want to say, my first question, of course, was what I ask all my guests is, what inspired you to be an actor after getting a BS in chemistry? How did this happen?
BS and a PhD in chemistry.
Yes, a PhD.
It was halfway through my PhD that I realized that I could do left brain and right brain things. My father had made a choice, I thought. I didn't get to know because he died very young, but I didn't get to ask him in great detail, but he was faced with a choice. He could go to graduate school and become an eye doctor, or he could go on the road with Tommy James and the Shondells. And he chose going to optometry school and then just sang for the rest of his life as a hobby. And so I thought maybe that I needed to make this choice. And growing up in a small town in Georgia, I thought, well, you know, I'm doing okay in my classes. I should just go and get into science. And then halfway through my PhD, I saw a little ad in the paper, hey, you want to be an actor, come to this seminar. And I never stopped. So I did both.
So that's why you decided, but you've always wanted to be in show business, more or less.
I think so. Yeah. I was in the 8th grade play in school, but the director was this real hard ass guy and definitely scared me off of performing for a while. And I just didn't know that I was necessarily allowed to. I didn't realize at the time that people like Robin Williams and Bill Murray were these comedic geniuses because they were so incredibly intelligent. and were well-rounded and had lives that they were able to put up on screen. So I wanted to have a life and put it up on screen.
Amazing, amazing. Now, but that's interesting that the director of the play scared you. Why did he scare you? What did he do to make you frightened about pursuing acting?
I won't mention his name.
Was he intimidating? I mean, what was it about him?
He would get in your face, and the big reputation that his class had was that you would cry in his class. He would say stuff to you that would make you cry in class. And this was rural Georgia, so you didn't want to cry in class.
Well, especially if you're a boy.
At the time, this is the 70s and early 80s. So
yeah, a boy doesn't want to cry in front of people. I mean, that makes you look like a wuss.
Except that, emoting on screen is incredibly important, showing these range of emotions.
Yeah, and girls too. Girls too don't want to cry in front of people.
No, nobody wants
to. It's embarrassing. Who wants to cry? Yeah. So you think that he did this to motivate you to be the actor that he wanted you to be, or was it just that he was mean?
At the time, I thought he was mean. Later, giving him the benefit of the doubt, perhaps it was a conscious approach of his, but glass half full, glass half empty. Was the guy an asshole and just liked making little kids cry, or was it part of some grand scheme? I don't know, but
you really don't know. You don't know if it was like he liked that power, or a bit of intimidating people, or did he really have a motive behind it to make you a better person? You don't really know.
Yeah. These days with Facebook, I am in touch with friends from that era, and he's beloved by them. So who knows?
Who really knows, right? Now, I also, after reading this thing, I was just reading this about you, that you had all these jobs, careers, movie theater manager, camp counselor, a rifle instructor in New York City, a taxi cab driver, a helicopter pilot. Were these jobs temporary jobs to support your acting gigs? I mean, yes. Or were they real? They were.
Well, I never made money off helicopter or flying. That was, I was working towards it, and it's an incredibly expensive habit. Probably worse than crack. I don't know, having never smoked crack, but it's very expensive to become a helicopter pilot. And so I went for quite a while, a couple of years, and then just decided, I'm only doing this for fun, and it's a little bit too expensive a habit for me, so I'm going to stop. The firefighting, I did 10 years, but it was on a paid-on-call basis, which is how a lot of firefighting, especially out on Long Island, is done, and in rural areas across the country. So a lot of the things were simultaneous. I was able to finish my PhD, even though I was driving to Chicago every week and coming to New York several times a year, and so I just didn't sleep a lot.
Did you enjoy being a firefighter?
One of the best experiences of my life.
Really?
Absolutely. Yes.
What was your most dangerous scenario as a firefighter?
Walking into a barn that is actively on fire. My mom happened to be visiting me when that one happened, and so I run into the barn. She's crying because she's all she's my mom.
Scary. And I look down. You know why? Because the hay goes up right away,
and it's very hot. And I looked down, and I was standing in boiling water. So that was fun.
Oh my gosh! So that probably was your most dangerous experience.
Getting to the fires is what I would consider the most dangerous. I was driving the fire truck one time, and the lady aimed for the tire because she told the police she thought that would be the softest spot rather than just driving around the fire truck, because she hit me going about 50 miles an hour. And so that was driving to the fires, I think, was as dangerous as getting to as being at the fire.
I've had one experience that was really scary with fire. I was having a dinner party, and I was wearing this top, and it had feathers all the way around the neck.
No, you
very, 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 very Zsa Zsa Gabor, with these feathers around my neck.
I can see this. Yes.
So I went to go light people don't even know who she is, but you know who she is. So anyway, I went to go light the candles, And all of a sudden I hear this weird noise. This feathers were on my sweater. And somehow it got on, the flame got attached to the feathers.
Yeah.
And it went right around my neck.
On your head.
And it blew out. I was very lucky that it didn't get attached to my hair or anything like that. I almost died. I was so scared. Then another
Like Hunger
time,
Games, though.
yeah, it was scary. So another time I'm having drinks with my husband. I don't even know if we were married yet. This was a long time ago. I had dark hair at the time. So it was my hair too. It was real hair. So we're having drinks and we're right by a fire candle. All of a sudden, my hair goes on fire. My husband's like,
goodness.
"Oh my God, oh my God." And last night, I was putting something up on Instagram. Okay, this was last night. I was so terrified because I have a gorgeous candelabra and I placed it on my kitchen table. Okay, and I wanted to put like a romantic dinner for my husband and I. So I had these candles.
Very nice.
Very pretty because as you can see, I have a pink kitchen.
Yes, it's fabulous.
So it's very, very pink and very glamorous. So I had this beautiful crystal candelabra with the candles, and I'm lighting the candles, and I was so petrified. I didn't think, but I was so petrified because the candles were close to a curtain. And I was like, oh my God, I was so scared. I lit them and I did my Instagram thing right away and I blew them out right away because I was so afraid of them. Because this really did happen when I was a little kid. This woman, she lit some candles and the candles in her apartment, and she had a baby, and the wind was blowing and the candles went on the curtains, and that was the end of the house. The whole house burnt down.
Sure.
So that scared me. But thankfully, everything worked out. And I just wanted to ask you those questions because you were a firefighter.
Yeah.
So
great experience.
Yeah. Now, tell my audience the story behind you getting into at least 36 films and TV shows. I mean, you've done so much work. Did you get an agent? Tell us the story how all this happened for you with the acting.
Well, from 94 to 98, I was not living in New York, but flying to New York and taking acting classes and meeting people, so that when I was able to move to New York, which happened January 1st of 98, I could jump right in. I knew people here, so I didn't want to go to LA. And, like everybody in the 90s, backstage was pretty much the only game in town to find auditions. And so I jumped in with both feet. I'm very fortunate that I did have all of these different experiences prior to that. I think I undervalued my time. I could have been doing more teaching to support my acting better, but I was able to live pretty economically. It was well before I was married and had a family. And so I just jumped in with both feet and auditioned for every single thing that I possibly could. And that ended up giving me a voiceover agent that was a decent agent. And I went on lots of auditions and realized that commercial acting wasn't my thing so much, but really paid attention when I got on TV sets and film sets so that I could try and find a team of people that I could work with. And so
continuously,
keep going. And like these guys that I made Waimea with, I've been working with since 1998. So we've made half a dozen or so films together over the years. And I'm very fortunate that they call me back. And that's really what I think acting is all about, is developing relationships. Tom Cruise and Paula Wagner worked together forever. And Will Ferrell and his buddies worked together forever. So, yeah.
So that's how it started for you. Interesting. Now, do you feel, out of all the work you do you favor films over TV or vice versa?
Personally, I love film above all. Just the idea of shooting out of sequence, of having everybody just sort of like an army working together to develop, to produce the director's vision. And I mean, it requires a lot of faith because you are leaving it up to the director. It's just very different than TV, which is incredibly fast paced, at least on the stuff that I've worked on. I've done quite a few soap operas before they all left New York. And that's just, say the line quickly, get out, move on to the next scene. And
they don't even care how good you deliver it.
No.
They
Law
just
and
want
Order,
you
they
to say
care.
it.
But just get the words out because it's all exposition to drive the scene forward, and you're only given a line or two, so just move it on. Let the lead guys try and get through their lines and get off the set and move on to the next scene. Law and Order was almost the same way. Just say your line quick.
I was just about to ask you that you worked on Law and Order.
Yeah, I did 3 SVUs, saved Christopher Maloney's life a couple times in different seasons. And because were
these speaking parts that you had?
Oh yeah. I never wanted to be a piece of furniture. Although I will say that the only people I've met who consistently made enough money to get their health insurance through SAG were extras, were background actors, because they worked all the time. That was their job. They knew it, and they did it. Most everybody else that I've met on sets has just been trying it.
Yeah. So, do they always typecast you as the same type of, character in Law and Order? How many times did you do Law and Order?
I did 3 Law and Orders, all as an EMT, because I was an EMT. When I did Louis, they cast me as an EMT and then cut my scene. So there was a lot of, hey, this guy is going to say this stuff believably because he's done it. And
because he's done it. Right. Amazing. So do you think television is more difficult than making a film, or do you think the film is harder? What's more challenging?
Well, these days, the difference has gotten a lot smaller in my mind because of Netflix and Amazon and Hulu, all these originals that are coming out that are effectively long movies. I mean, the last Netflix show that I did, again, another scene that ended up getting cut, was a full day for this death scene. There were all the special effects to get the blood looking right on the floor, and we were shooting this abandoned hospital, and it was for all intents and purposes a movie set, because Netflix has the money to spend so that they make however many episodes are in a season of one of their TV shows. Each one is effectively a movie.
Yeah, it's very corporate. TV is very corporate. Hollywood and TV is extremely corporate, I would think, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
It's run like a corporation. I think that even old Hollywood probably was based on the same premise. Make these films, bang them out. We don't care about the actress or the actor. They would drive these people so hard. Like, some of them gross so much money. Some of these movie stars from old Hollywood, they grossed millions and millions of dollars, like Judy Garland, because people loved her, and they just tortured that poor girl, and she became a drug addict. Yeah. That poor woman. Even Marilyn Monroe, they did the same thing to her too, right? Yeah, Hollywood's rough.
So much.
Yeah. Do you think it's still like that? Do you think that Hollywood, because you do a lot of independent work, a lot of independent films.
I don't have to worry about making millions and millions of dollars and having no idea what to do with all my money yet. So
but you're right, because a lot of these movies. So, look at what's happening with Alec Baldwin, right?
He was producing that film. So
what's going on with him? I interviewed him. Alec, he's not very nice, Alec Baldwin.
I'm sorry to hear he wasn't nice.
But he was nice to me. He kissed me.
Okay, good.
Everybody kisses me. All I have to do is say pink champagne kisses, and they kiss me. So I don't have that problem. So anyway, getting back to the questions.
Sure.
Now, what I want to ask you is, we met years ago. Many years ago. I can't even believe it's actually 9 years ago.
Was it 9? Okay, I was going to say 10, but yeah.
It's almost 10 years ago. We met 9 years ago. I'll never forget. It was Gizzy's, one of my favorite I was talking to Solomon about that. I wish we could do something like that again. It was so much fun. Of course, now I do everything Zoom because it's ridiculous. It's crazy, but that's the world we live in. So now we met years ago and I interviewed you about your role as a villain.
Yes.
In Little Indiana Jones.
That was a brilliant movie. Man, they did that one well.
I know. And now, was that like one of your favorite things you've ever done? Did you really?
I
had
really
a lot of fun on that.
I had so much fun being the bad guy, and bad guy roles seem to be working out for me. I just don't get cast that way, I guess, because I'm nice. I don't know. But yeah, when I did Blue Ruin,
because you don't look evil. You don't look evil. That's why.
It works. But that role took there was a lot of balance to that role because it was a comedic bad guy. I mean, there was a lot of mugging for the camera when the little kid would hit me over the head with a statue, for example. So, the director and producer really spent a lot of money on that film. It's too bad that it was so copyright infringing and didn't get a wider release because they really did a phenomenal job with that one.
Isn't that something? They even stopped them from getting anywhere because they're so afraid of the copyright.
Well, they ripped off John Williams' music, and apparently that's a big no-no. So Warner Brothers was not having that. Even if it got posted on YouTube, it would get pulled because of just the music, never mind the whole concept of having Indiana Jones.
Work out some deal? Why did they try to work out some deal? They should have done that, no?
I don't know if he tried.
Yeah, that's the problem with these things. Sometimes people don't think it's going to be a big deal, but it is a big deal.
Oh, yeah, especially with music.
And now with YouTube, oh my God, you know how many videos they took off of my thing? And you know why? It's so crazy. I'm going to tell you, I went to a fashion show before COVID, before all this happened. And I went, I'm sitting in the fashion show, and I'm recording the show. I'm recording it. I'm recording them walking down the runway, So because I'm recording this fashion show, I didn't record the music. They were playing the music in the background of these girls walking down the runway. And because that music was playing, not that I took the music off of YouTube, I didn't. Because that music was playing, they took my fashion show, they took my whole thing off, completely off. They didn't give me, what's the word? They call it something.
Warning.
They didn't even
cease and desist.
They didn't. Sometimes they do that too. Sometimes they actually take you right off. They take the whole channel off. But no, they didn't do that. They just took my whole thing off. I guess because they felt it wasn't really my fault. The music was playing in the background. So they just took it off. So I think that's stupid, because if the music is playing in the background and you're not taking any music off, why should this be copyrighted? But
you got to protect the artists and the labels. Yeah.
What?
You have to protect the artists and the labels. I don't know if it's really in the artist's interest, but it's certainly in the label's interest to get their money. I've heard of bars being shut down for playing music. They need to be paying BMI or ASCAP for the rights to play music in the background in a bar.
Are you serious?
Oh yes. Talk to anybody who's opened a bar and talk to them about music, and this is
something new. I've never heard of that. That is so crazy. Now, how did you get cast? Tell me, refresh my memory from 9 years ago. Tell my audience how you got cast for Little Indiana Jones.
If I remember correctly, and my memory does not work as well as it used to, it was through Solomon Chertok. He and I had done a film when I first moved to New York that was never released, but we kept in touch. And he thought that I would be. I think he was producing Little Indiana Jones as well as.
Yes, he was. He was working on it.
And he thought that I would be good for the role of the bad guy, and so he introduced me to Jordan, the producer, director, rest in peace. And I met with him and read some lines from the movie, and he said, "Great, let's go for it." And I was doing a play at the same time, so I was shooting the movie and then running to.
Wow!
It was the last play I ever did. Running to the performances after being on the set.
Hello, darlings. Welcome back to Cognac's Corner. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist Cognac Wellerlane, and we are just about to see part 2 of my fascinating interview with Kevin Kolack, actor Kevin Kolack. Let's take a look at this fascinating interview with Mr. Kevin Kolack.
Wow. So that's pretty much how you got that role.
Yeah.
Solomon,
by connections.
Through connections.
And being good.
So, yeah, and you have to be good at what you do. Otherwise, nobody's going to hire you as an actor. That's for sure. Now, so I already asked you that question. Okay, to date, what has been your favorite acting part? Is it your latest accomplishment, which I see behind the wall there, Waimea, or which you received the Best Actor Award? Is that your favorite, or is there something else?
Picking a favorite, it's like picking a favorite child, all right? I can pick one easily because I only have one son. But they're all so different. You know, I did a voiceover role for Kirby. I played Takori for 5-6 years for 100 episodes. I loved doing that. Blue Ruin certainly got the most love of any film I was in, got sold at Cannes, and the rest of the team on that film, Jeremy Saulnier and Macon Blair, have gone on to wonderful things. Waimea, working with Steve Herold for the past 20 years, he's a genius, and it's really, really unfortunate that he's never gotten his due. He's still out there scraping for production jobs, which sucks because making Waimea was at least as challenging as any film I was ever on. And I did The Family with Luc Besson, and Luc came over and said, "Hello, I will be your director today." And we did our scene with De Niro, and that was a lot of fun. But
how did you like working with Robert De Niro?
I mean, he did not want to shake hands or chit chat. He had his stand-in who he's worked with forever.
He's not a nice person. I know. He's really.
Maybe too many people have clamored for his attention over the years and want something. So, but I was fine. It was just like any other day on a set. Just that this movie was $100 million instead of, $500 for some of the things that I've done. I
know. It's ridiculous how some movies are so expensive to film.
Yeah. Well, they spend $1 million a day.
It's really outrageous how some of these movies are so expensive. Now, how do you say it again? Waimea?
Waimea. It's a town. Waimea. It's a beach town in Hawaii, which is a plot point.
So it's an actual place, Waimea.
Yes. Yeah, I looked it up. I think it's Waimea Bay or Waimea Beach, and now I forget.
So tell us the synopsis of this film.
The way that Steve, the writer, put it to me is that this is a live action Tom and Jerry, but we don't give that away in the preview because we want it to unfold for people. And it's still making its festival run, and then he'll post it on whatever streaming platform is available.
I did see a slight trailer on IMDb. I did see something where you say you say something to your wife.
Yes. So it seems as if someone has died.
Tell us more about the synopsis. Tell us more about it.
Sure. So at the beginning of the film, it's black and white and very atmospheric and somber. And it seems like somebody has died or is dying. And we don't exactly know what's going on until, I guess I can reveal a little for your special audience here. I get dragged into the house by my wife. And as I'm closing the front door, she just decks me, just punches me out. And then for the next 10 minutes, it's let's abuse Kevin in as many different ways as possible, which is kind of Steve's goal in most of the films that he's made the last few years, is what can he do to abuse me the most? Because he knows I'll go for it. So I get hit with an iron in this one, beaten with a computer keyboard, mowed down by a bicycle, but all of this, and this is why the movie I think is so technically challenging, and he deserves so much credit. And John Mastriano, the cinematographer, we shot it in one room, which happened to be Steve Hicks's kitchen, the special effects coordinator that we've worked with forever. So shooting an entire film with an entire film crew with throwing irons at my face and running me over with a bicycle in one 12 by 12 room is incredibly technically demanding. And there are all these people that, I can't watch myself on screen. I think it came out great. And it's getting the festival love that it deserves, but not enough attention. It won Best Screenplay in Australia, I think. We were nominated.
Really? In Australia?
Yeah, I can't remember the Sydney International Film Festival. And Steve was nominated for Best Director, but didn't win. I was nominated for Best Film at the New Jersey Film Awards and didn't win, but I did win for Best Actor, which is kind of nice. But I still think that the rest of the team deserves a lot more love than they're getting.
Now, is this like a dark comedy?
It is. We find out in the end that I have lost our $10 million lottery ticket, which we do find. Okay, it does have a happy ending, to give it away, but my wife's anger at me losing the ticket when she told me to make sure that I put it someplace safe, which I did. I just forgot where it was. So, and hilarity ensues for 11 or 12 minutes, however long the film is.
If I did that, my husband yells at me too. I mean, he loves me, my husband, but he treats me like I'm Lucille Ball, like I do wacky things, So he goes, "What's wrong with you?" I had a friend once. I still hear from her now and then. She's Spanish, and actually she's Cuban, I believe. So I said to her, "Was he really talking Spanish on that show with Lucy? I Love Lucy." She goes, "Yes, he was talking in Spanish and saying, 'Why am I married to this crazy woman? She does these crazy things. What's wrong with her?' Blah, 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 blah." This is what he was saying in Spanish. He was really saying that. So I thought that was so funny, Well, that was one of my. They said that she actually is considered probably the funniest woman, funniest actress of all time, Lucille Ball.
She's phenomenal. I can't wait to watch the documentary or the biopic that's out right now about her with Nicole Kidman.
Me too. Yeah, with Nicole Kidman, right? Yeah, me too. I want to see that too. Now, tell us how you found out about this role to get
to Waimea. Well, that one's easy. Again, connections. Steve wrote a new script and thankfully said, let's abuse Kevin again. Which on the call sheet, a lot of times it'll say that. Yeah, there was, we did another award-winning short a few years ago called Death of an Umbrella Salesman. And one day on the call sheet was, "Today we mace Kevin!" ! Smiley face. So that was the day that they shot me in the eyes with mace. Not real mace, but that's what it was looking like.
My God, the abuse you go through. You're like
he's really good.
Like a stunt actor. The abuse that has he ever used stunts instead of you or no? Or you've always taken the...
Nah, we've never had the money for that. We never had the money for that. Yeah.
So now...
so he just asked me to be in it, and I said, yes, of course. I didn't... I will admit, Waimea was the first film where I looked at his script, which are incredibly visually... just visual. You can really see what's going to end up on the screen when you read his scripts. And I didn't get this one. I didn't get the idea of it until he said it's live action Tom and Jerry. And then, now I get it.
I see.
And after 20 years of working with the same director, you trust the guy to take care of you on the set. The iron that he hit me in the face with was a stunt iron. but still, you got a relationship, and he knows that he can insult me all day long and abuse me all day long, and I'm going to have fun.
You love each other. That's why you love each other. So now, Waimea, why did he pick that name? What was the reason for that?
Oh God, you have to get him on to ask him about that. I maybe he went there. I don't know. He's really traveled the world doing production stuff. Again, unfortunately, not directing as he's been doing it. But yeah, maybe he went there. I don't know. I've never asked him.
Yeah, I would think that the reason why he called it that was because that's the town that you are supposedly in.
No, we dream of going there with our money from the lottery winnings.
Oh, so that makes sense, though. So that's probably why he called it that. So what's so special about that town that you wanted, that he felt that you would want to go there?
Patty, my co-star, who you can see in the picture there, it's a dream of hers, a scripted dream of hers. So I'm just along for the ride. Both in the movie and in shooting a movie like that.
Well, everybody seems to want to move to Florida because it's beautiful, it's warm, there's no mandates and all these other things that are going on. So that could be like a place where people, because it's a beautiful place, it's always sunny and warm there. So that's probably, a lot of people are moving to Florida. So maybe that's
it's Hawaii. It's in Hawaii.
Oh, it's in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was in Florida. No, it's Hawaii.
No, Hawaii.
Well, that's even
Very
more
exotic.
so. Hawaii is so gorgeous. It's so beautiful there. So
But
that makes sense. Now, I've never been to Hawaii, but from what I've seen, from what I've heard, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. Where would you like to go? What place that you haven't been to that you would love to go to? You must have a favorite place.
I am honestly not that well traveled. My wife spent a summer in Florence, Italy, Italian cooking, and she wants to take me back with her there someday. So I'm game for that. I've never been to Europe. I've never been to Hawaii either, for that matter. So I'm happy seeing people's pictures, but going to Iceland, seeing the Northern Lights, swimming in the hot springs, I think that would be a nice thing to do.
Well,
Iceland.
Kevin, you're not Italian.
No, I'm not Italian. No.
I mean, of course you're American, but I mean, where's your family from originally?
Oh, Eastern Europe, Czechoslovakia, Russia, that area, 5 generations back.
Well, I'm Italian. I mean, I'm American, but my family was originally from Italy. But I can tell you, is your wife Italian? Does your wife have a background?
No, my wife's Brooklyn born and raised. Her family comes from Ireland, and
she's
also,
Irish. Well, I can tell you, I went on my honeymoon and I went everywhere in Italy. I went to Sicily. I didn't go to Sicily. That's where I'm from. But I went to Rome. I went to Naples. I went to Venice. I went to the island of Capri. I went to Florence. It is the most beautiful country. I mean, it's just the most beautiful place. And so
all right, well,
romantic.
we got to go then. We got to go.
And the food is to die for. So you tell your wife when you get everything ready and set to go, you must go with it. Don't say no. Go, because
all right, I will.
You will love Italy. It is truly, truly a beautiful place to be.
Cool.
Now, getting back to this movie.
Yes.
What is he trying to do? Tell us the name of the director again of the film.
Director's name is Steve Herold, Herold.
Okay. What's his goal for this movie? Would he like to see it on Netflix? Would he like to see it on Amazon? Is he working on that?
He had a deal to put all of his stuff on Amazon for a while, and I don't know if they're still doing that with small filmmakers because they're moving on to bigger things. But if they are, I'm sure he will do that. Yeah, I think it's the same dream that he's had since college, and that a whole lot of filmmakers have, that someone's going to see this, because all it takes is one champion of yours, and then you're off to the races. So, hopefully someone sees this film and finally appreciates his talent and my talent and Patty's talent and everybody, John's talent for the cinematographer.
No,
And
I see a lot of people that make these films. They try to get it in the hands of a famous actor, and they tell them, I want you to play the part, and that sometimes works.
sure, yeah. I'm very happy that he chooses me, but if he managed to get Brad Pitt to do one of his films, I'd say more power to him.
Yeah, I interviewed Pierce Brosnan at the Hamptons International Film Festival, and the not the actress, the writer of the movie, she contacted him. She was able to get it in his hands, and she said that she really wanted him to play the main character in the movie, and he liked the movie.
Yeah.
And she's, the only thing is, I don't have the money right now to make it, but I'm trying to get the money up. He goes, don't worry about the money. I'll get it made. I'll help you get this. I like the movie. I like the script for me.
That's all it takes.
That's how she got this movie in the Hamptons International Film. This is what he told me when I interviewed him.
It happens, yeah. Well, Bill Murray, a couple of movies back, little small movie where he was like somebody's drunk neighbor and took care of the kid. I can't remember the title of it, but the same kind of story. He knew somebody, the writer knew somebody who knew somebody who finally got it to Bill Murray's lawyer, who got it to him because Bill Murray doesn't have an agent. And Bill liked the movie and boom, got made. And now
Bill Murray doesn't have an agent?
He never had an agent.
Are you serious?
No. He lives just north of the city, and he's got an 800 number, and you go through his lawyer.
Oh, well, he's smart. I think he's smart not having an agent, maybe he's smart. I don't know, because the agents take so much money, and do they really do that much for you?
Yeah, well,
he probably has.
I don't think at this point in his career, he does whatever he wants.
Yeah, he probably has an entertainment lawyer. And the entertainment lawyer kind of works like his agent almost.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense to me. Now, tell my audience about the voiceover. Tell my audience about how you got into voiceover.
That was one of those things where I came to New York thinking that I was just gonna, learn all about the business and just make my way to the Oscar stage easily, because why not? And I have a unusual voice, I guess, and started being told to audition for stuff. The casting directors liked me. I was booking stuff. And so I just kept doing it, made demo tapes, brought them around town, mailed them to folks, and just enjoyed it. And it's another one of those things where you're behind the microphone. You can't see mine. I have a microphone right here, but there we go.
I see. Yeah.
Hidden by the green screen. All you have is your voice to get across your emotion. And so whether I'm playing a psychotic bird on Kirby or doing a national spot for McDonald's saying, buy your breakfast sandwich, limited time offer. When
I watch television, because I'm a big TV person. So when I might be hearing your voice and I don't even know it's you.
It's possible. Not late. I honestly, I haven't done much voiceover stuff lately. I wish I could. I wish I did. It's just one of those things where
this is something I'm hearing, that a lot of actors are doing this because of like what's going on in the world with the COVID and everything. Everybody
can do it from home.
You could do it from your house. You could do it like what we're doing right now. And you talk and you record your voice and you send it in. And this is how people are working. Do you like this? Do you like this better with the Zoom, or do you like the personal interaction?
It's certainly easier not having to commute everywhere.
Right.
That's true. I mean, if we were meeting up at Jizzy's, then it would take us an hour to get there, and it's easier. But having human interaction, isn't that kind of what entertainment is all about? You're on the set with people and you're interacting with people. So voiceover is always solitary, though. I will say that I never met the other actors that I was talking to in the same scene. You never stand next to the person you're talking to. That was a rarity. I think I did a yogurt commercial where all three of us were in the same room at the same time, and it was incredibly unusual. But there's no barrier to entry, which is a good thing if you're just starting out, and a bad thing if you're trying to make a living at it, because making a living at voiceovers and living in New York City is very expensive. But since you can buy a microphone and set up a studio in your basement in Wisconsin, where living is a whole lot cheaper, we're driving to the bottom in the industry. And I haven't met anyone, certainly in the last decade, who's making a living at voiceovers, but maybe it's just my crowd that isn't. Right. And that's unfortunate, but it's like filmmaking. You can make a movie with your phone these days, which is great if you want to make a movie and can get it done. And for those that want to do it right, that might not be the way to do it. So
if you're making a film with your cell phone, I just can't fathom it being like very expensive to make. I think if you're filming it with like a big, camera and these scenes and these equipment and all this other, that gets costly, doesn't it? I mean, isn't Absolutely. That? So Absolutely. When you're filming something with a cell phone, I would think it would be like half the price. But, and I can't remember which director it was, but somebody was touting the fact that they did make their feature film on their iPhone a couple of years ago. And I can't imagine somebody without a name being able to get away with that. But this guy did. And to me, that I don't know that that's something necessarily to be proud of, but if you can do it, why not? Why spend $1 million on a movie that you can make for $100,000? Yeah. I question even that though. I don't even think you even need to make something that's only 100 on your cell phone. I would think it'd be even less than that.
I think you could. I think you certainly could, and I think people are. And it's a great way to get into the business. There's no barrier to entry, but I don't think that should be what we're aspiring to.
Right, I agree.
Look, I made this movie on my phone.
I still like interaction. I miss those days of Gizzies. I used to do interviews on the red carpet. I will say this is a lot easier because when you're on the red carpet, you're chasing celebrities and you only get like 2 minutes with them, and not even sometimes. Sometimes I just get a soundbite and that's it. But this is a lot easier, and I'm talking to you for almost an hour now. So I know, and that's why I like this, but I do miss the interaction of drinking the champagne and, and pink champagne kisses and, that kind of stuff. So I do miss that, but I happen to like the Zoom, and I'm very thankful that I have that. Now, Kevin, tell my audience, are you working on anything new now that we should know about?
Well, we do have a follow-up to Waimea called Two Wrongs Don't Make a Right, which we shot during COVID with a small crew. So we were able to, be tested and mask up, and we shot it all outside. So that was easy to do even in the middle of a lockdown. So Steve and John and the rest of the team are finishing music and editing now, and I guess that'll be submitted to festivals as soon as it's done. Ringtone. Nice. So yeah, Two Wrongs Don't Make a Right. That'll be the next one from Joint Partners.
What is that? Tell us a synopsis of that. What is that about?
It's an experience that probably a lot of people have had, where I get to an entrance to a mall, and a guy wants to turn left. I'm going to turn right into the mall, and he wants to turn left. So I just, wave him, go ahead. And he tells me, no, you go ahead. And so we yell at each other.
So is that a short?
It's a short, yes.
It's a short.
That one should be under 10 minutes because it's a relatively simple joke, No, you go. No, you go. No, you go. How much we can do with that? But as is the case with all of Steve's movies, there's a definite arc to it and a nice punchline. But this one's, I would call it very sketchy. It's definite sketch comedy.
So I can't wait to find out about this film when it comes out. Let me know.
I will.
And maybe we could do an interview with the director. Maybe I could do something with Steve. I would love to interview him as well.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to tell my audience where we could go to find out more information about you.
About little old me.
Yes, darling, about you. Do you have a website? Can we go
I do.
find out more about you?
Yeah, KevinKolack.com, KevinKolack.com. I'm on Facebook, Kevin Kolack fan page. I have an Instagram, but I don't use it very often. Kevin Kolack also. Yeah, social media is. I always feel like I should be chasing. You know, in the early 2000s, like let's put everything on YouTube, and maybe I was a little bit late to the party. And you know, TikTok now, and yeah,
I'm not on TikTok.
I'm too old for this crap.
I know. I'm not on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube, but I'm not on TikTok. I don't know. It's a little bit too much. I mean, I even have a Twitter account, but I never Twitter. I never do. I just do Facebook and I do Instagram. And I not only do I do Zoom interviews like with you and other, you know, people, actors and filmmakers, I also do fashion halls because that young people want to see fashion.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so that's what I do. That's, you know, and now how you have a son? How old is your son?
I do. He's 8, so he wasn't even born the last time we met.
Right.
And now he's in 3rd grade.
So does he want to be an actor like you too?
He is. In fact, he's in Shrek the Musical Junior, which is rehearsing now. He is Lord Farquaad, which is funny because the whole joke with Lord Farquaad is that he's very short. And my son, being only 8, is very short because there are kids that are much older in the cast. But he's super smart, memorizes his lines. You know, he reads them once and he has them memorized.
You must be so proud of him.
I am.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, huh? Isn't that the saying? The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Does he look like you, your son? Does he look exactly like you?
He looks a lot like me, but my wife and I are very similarly, you know, light skin, blonde hair. So we made a cute one. I blame it on my wife.
Oh, so you blame everything on her. That's fabulous. It's so nice to hear that you're married, you have a son, and I wish you all kinds of wonderful luck in the world, as we say in show business.
Thank you, Cognac.
As we say in show business, darling, break a leg, right?
Absolutely. And they tried in Waimea.
I don't want to, a lot of young people, you tell them that too. What is she talking about? Break a leg? I don't want to break a leg. But because we're older, we know what that means, right? Break a leg. So I want to thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you, Cognac.
On Cognac's Corner. And I'm not there to give you a pink champagne kiss, but I'm going to blow it to you. Pink champagne kisses.
Thank you.
And we are going to end this interview, but don't go away. Don't go away yet, because I'm going to talk to you after we stop recording. But I want all the people that are watching to subscribe. You must subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you must follow me on Instagram at Cognac's Corner Magazine and Cognac's Corner Mag. I have 2 Instagrams. And of course, Cognac Wellerlane, my Facebook. But thank you so much. I wish you all the luck in the world. Break a leg. And
thank you, Cognac.
And pink champagne kisses, darlings.
Mwah. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Rick, where were you?
I could be on a beach in Waimea right now.
Welcome back, darlings. I hope you enjoyed my fascinating interview with actor Kevin Kolack. He is a fascinating actor, and he has done so much work in film and television. And as you know, my YouTube channel is all about Zoom celebrity interviews and shopping hauls at Fashion Nova, Shein, and of course, my very favorite, Amazon. And I love you all, and please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please leave me some comments and let me know what kind of videos you'd like me to make, what kind of shopping hauls you would like me to do, and what kind of celebrities you'd like me to interview. And of course, I always publish a new video every Sunday or every Monday. And I love you all. And pink champagne kisses.
Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac show. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm a bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed to impress. One of a kind girl. I was brought into this world wrapped up in pearls. I love to mingle, though my husband reminds me I'm not single. I meet and greet both the famous and the elite. I ride in limousines, drinking the finest champagne, wearing furs, dazzling diamond jewelry. A girl can't complain. I live upscale life, dining in the finest restaurants, eating the best caviar for free. And no matter how much I enjoy cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. It's been a CryBaby Productions, darlings.